Y'all, I swear this ain't the route we took to Aunt Molly's. We should have hit the interstate by now.
Oh, well, perhaps if you hadn't insisted on that detour to see the world's largest dildo, we'd be home already, Sophie.
Oh, please, Catherine. Don't go placing blame when it was you who screamed, "Turn left, I see a Dairy Queen."
Okay, that was me, but y'all didn't have to listen.
Turn left on Route 666.
Oh, marvelous. Simply splendid. Stranded in the middle of God knows where, not a single soul in sight.
Wait. What is that up ahead? Do you see it? That sign says Big Bubba's Filling Station.
Why the hell would a gas station be open now? And look at the pumps. They're like chrome.
Well, that sign says Coca-Cola's only 10 cents. 10 cents? What year is this?
I don't like this, not one bit. It feels like we stepped into an old postcard. Or a trap, almost.
We are not getting out of this car. I'm locking my door right... Hey! Why is that car door unlocking itself?
What in the devil was that?
That ain't just any gas station. I feel like it's watching us.
Y'all, we need to pray like right now.
But I say we drive. Now, push this wretched thing if we must.
If we stay here any longer, we won't be leaving. Not in this lifetime.
Y'all, I really need something fun to listen to.
Oh, well, how about we play that Itty Bitty Horror podcast? I think they have an episode on these types of scary gas stations.
Oh, damn you, Eloise. If you don't shut your damn mouth about that damn podcast...
What in the world?
How did y'all like that little skit we did in the beginning with a new guest?
A new one.
Oh, it was very fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like how you still maintain the accent. Or are you going to speak the entire episode this way, which is pretty cool if you do?
I might just move back and forth.
Is it like a Gillian Anderson situation where when you feel sort of Southern, then you would get the Southern accent, and then when you don't feel it, then you morph completely?
Yeah, basically. So it depends on what kind of mode I'm in, right? If I'm in work, I don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go to a bar or something and they card me, because I still have my North Carolina driver's license, I'll speak Southern just to see if I get a reaction.
What in the word? But then you have to order sweet tea, and it's a whole charade, I feel like.
Oh, y'all don't have sweet tea out here.
Isn't sweet tea just tea with sugar?
Yeah.
I feel like we could recreate that. I don't know.
Well, on that note, welcome to the Itty Bitty Horror Podcast with Luis and Tim. In this podcast, we discuss everything from horror movies to the scariest tales out there. Touch of humor, almost non-existent, but...
Yeah, basically none.
On today's episode, as you may have known, we do welcome a new guest.
Yes.
She is a good friend from Oakland and is originally from North Kakalaki. Araya, nice to have you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, okay. So when I mentioned for you to be on this episode, I talked to you a little bit about what it would be about, like this time traveling gas station or anything spooky. Have you ever experienced anything spooky or crazy during one of your many, many nighttime drives in the South?
I guess it depends on what you call spooky.
It could be spooky, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything paranormal.
I just picture the South having constant ghost stories, but maybe I'm just thinking of New Orleans.
Where I'm originally from, the ghost stories that I had heard were more like urban legends that everyone's heard. Like the lady on the side of the road, and you take it home, her mom's like, she's been dead for blah, blah, blah years. But no, something that Luis and I were talking about was how, so I grew up in a metropolitan area, but rural areas were very close by. I have some family members that live in rural areas, and it would be like going into gas stations in these remote areas. You walk in and it's like everyone turns their head because they're used to seeing the same person every day. You know what I mean?
You're like one of the only people of color there, right?
Yes, because there are some areas that are very segregated in that way. And then
Hmm.
for that, like even if I'm with other white people, like we all look like we're not from around there. It's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very uncertain. Like, okay, are you staring at us because you're curious? Are you thinking that we're gonna hurt you, or do you want to hurt us? It's very confusing. It's a very, it's. I feel like it's a otherness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I think just like going anywhere, I think I mentioned to you last time when I went somewhere in West Texas and I went with my friend Rose and we entered this like little diner and some people were definitely staring at us. Thank God they left us alone and say anything. But at the same time, it's kind of like I get the whole otherness of
Hmm.
how about you, Tim? Has this ever happened to you? Like where you feel like let's say you're driving down, maybe not in the South, but you're driving somewhere where the road is a little isolated and it
Hmm.
feels like you're almost like in a dream or something, nothing makes like something doesn't make sense or I don't know. Have you ever been stuck in a time travel loop?
Well, you changed your question like 3 times. Which one am I supposed to answer?
Well, all of them. Do it right now. Three, two.
Uh, y- yes, yes, no. I've been in a car. I have been in a road trip. And yes, I mean, I have been in odd little small towns where you wonder, like, is it? I mean, obviously, I don't have that exact same experience, Araya, but I've definitely been in small towns where I'm wondering what like the local people are like, and is it weird that I'm just walking into this little gas station? Can they immediately tell that I'm not from here? Who knows? That kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely there's some spooky, roads out there in the middle of the desert. I feel like in the Southwest and stuff, I mean, especially like at night, you never know what's out there. So yeah, I don't know. In that sense, I have.
Yeah, I remember once when I was going to El Paso with my friend, we were driving like 90 miles an hour because the speed limit was like 80 or 90 even because like they increase it, especially when it's like long stretches of road. And I remember I was
Right.
driving in the middle of a cornfield, like a fire. And I was like, oh shit, am I like in clan country?
Oh God, imagine.
Yeah, sorry.
Hmm.
I was just thinking. So when I was in high school, I lived in South Carolina,
Hmm.
and we moved to like Pawleys Island, which is like where the low country starts. Large weeping willow trees and plantations that still exist. And I would think to myself, like, oh God, it was almost like a representation. Just seeing that was a representation of like the terrible things that had gone on,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
It brings me a little bit to today's episode because I did want to talk about the story that went viral on TikTok from user Ashley Inc. That's spelled ASHLEEINC. She has a collection of stories that people email in where she discusses user submissions on her page, and it's called Spooky Scary Story Time. And I was, trying to promote this damn podcast on TikTok, Tim, and
Why are you immediately coming for me somehow?
I don't know. But I ended up on a certain site of TikTok, a horror talk. And
Dark talk. I don't know.
basically, and this person, Ashley Inc., she covered a specific story that was emailed into her. And it's like a 8, 9, 10 part series, but she condensed it into this YouTube video, which is what we're using for today's source. By the way, we are going to be posting the links to the show notes. Excuse me, the links to the stories in the show notes. So feel free to check out the entire YouTube video or the TikToks. But it's called Georgia's SR376, a time glitch mystery. The short version is that a woman was traveling down a highway in Georgia when she and her family stopped by a gas station to use the restroom. They experienced something very eerie, which we'll talk about in the episode, and they freaked out and left, but somehow ended up back at the same gas station 10 minutes later. I don't want to spoil too much, but apparently there's more to the tale.
Oh, you spoiled it all by saying there's more to the tale.
Yes. So for today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into this one story that talks about this gas station in Georgia, and it's straight from the YouTube video, which again we'll put in the show notes. Both the video and TikTok are pretty cool and scary. So just a heads up. Then we're going to read some real stories that multiple folks emailed in about this specific incident and their own experiences with this as well. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling.
Oh, I'm a little scared.
The story we're going to be covering today is called Georgia's SR376 Time Glitch Mystery, aka the Time Traveling Gas Station. Maria, the woman who submitted the story, said this happened back in 2007. She and her 3 siblings and her sister-in-law were driving from Florida to Georgia after attending their favorite uncle's funeral. He had unfortunately passed away. The trip was not planned. They didn't all get together that much, and despite the circumstances, they were having a pretty good time in the car. Everybody was laughing and joking. Maria was driving. They left Florida around 5 p.m., and according to Maria, it was a 10-plus hour drive. About 5 hours in, she really had to use the restroom. They were on I-75 headed to Georgia, and it got to emergency status.
Oh, like the restroom break was emergency status?
Yeah, like she had to take a huge shit.
Oh,
Sorry, Maria. You may not have done that.
sorry, Maria. We don't know about the status of your bathroom break, but we're just assuming based on, reading between the lines.
Yes, and I apologize to Araya for spitting her drink all over.
Bless her heart. Okay.
She decided she'd pull off at the next exit. When she did, they noticed that there were no signs at the exit. Normally you'd see gas, food, or lodging signs. There was nothing. She turned off the highway and drove down what felt like an endless road. There were no street lights, no signs of life, no other cars, just a dark 2-lane highway surrounded by trees. She said it was a Sunday night, and this was a small town in Georgia, so maybe people just weren't out. After about 15 minutes, they finally saw the lights of a gas station. Maria jumped out and rushed straight to the bathroom without even looking around. She did her business, took a huge shit, came out.
Oh, I don't think it says that.
No, and immediately sensed something was off. Her siblings looked shocked. None of them were talking. Her sister rushed into the bathroom.
They were shocked by her bathroom break.
They're like, oh, Fuji, I smelled that.
Did we
Yeah, exactly.
on earlier today?
No, you had Taco Bell, baby.
Oh, it was Catherine then. Her sister rushed into the bathroom, and Maria finally took in her surroundings. The gas station had an eerie vibe. There was one flickering fluorescent light in the center of the ceiling. It blinked every few seconds. She turned to make a comment to her brother, but noticed he was just staring at a man behind the counter. You Mexicans, where you headed?
Oh, no.
He didn't say that. Maria described the man as older, with deep wrinkles, very thin, about 6 feet tall. Tim, that's stop. Don't go there.
Why does every time anyone is described as thin, which I do appreciate you saying, but still,
About 6 feet tall.
with deep wrinkles, it also says.
Ooh, never mind. He didn't move or blink. He was staring at them, but not in a normal way, almost like he was looking through them. He barely seemed to be breathing. She had a strong feeling of dread, but tried to play it off. She walked around looking for snacks or drinks while her sister was still in the bathroom. She noticed the snack labels were covered in dust. The branding looked dated, even vintage. Some items she didn't recognize at all, which is weird for 2007.
Or, any year. I mean, if you don't recognize items, that's not particularly weird in 2007.
Well, how about you just shut the fuck up?
Oh, well, okay, great. Araya, now you see what this podcast is really like.
Finally, her sister came out. As soon as she did, everyone seemed to understand it was time to leave. Maria said she didn't know why. She just knew they had to get out. They bolted. Maria got behind the wheel and peeled out, deciding they'd find another gas station. They drove back down the same road toward the highway. She didn't have GPS, but was familiar with the route. She had a simple cell phone, but no navigation. Still, she knew she was headed in the right direction.
And I'm assuming the cell phone was like the chocolate, the LG chocolate, probably.
Yeah, it was like one of those old. What was the biggest, like the most expensive, fanciest phone in 2007? What was it, like BlackBerry?
BlackBerry?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have like navigation type stuff, right?
They had like a pretty early of that kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, I remember when I was like, oh yeah, because I remember like around 2010, 11, I would go with my ex traveling all over Texas, and those like pre-smartphones in the sense like it wasn't like Google Maps or anything, and we actually used to use big paper maps to travel. And I
Oh my gosh,
travel right now.
Louise.
Yeah,
Like, she may have just gotten lost because I don't even know how I would have been able to get anywhere without GPS. And
yeah.
I know.
you could just say, oh, that word up. I mean,
No, you're right. Because like even here in Oakland, like whenever I would like rent a car or something, in order to go somewhere, I always need to have GPS, even if it's like a mile away. 'Cause I'm like, I want to make sure I'm going the right way. But now you want to know like if there's any traffic or any like accidents or anything. But back then, I don't know how you do it. Do you know how? Well, you were still a little kid, Tim.
I mean, it's like dark. There's not much around. Like I could imagine that like the buildings are similar to each other in that place, and not similar to what you're used to in your normal environment. So you're like, I don't know, this all looks the same.
Yeah. But they didn't hit the highway, Tim.
It doesn't say Tim.
They kept driving until they came up to another gas station, and it was the same one. Somehow they had looped back, and it was on the same side of the road. As they passed, the old man was still inside, staring at them through the window, unmoving. Her brother shouted, "Just go!" And she floored it, going close to 100 miles per hour. Girl, that's gonna fucking break your car, but okay. Never reached 100 miles an hour.
Wait, is that for real? Is that her in her account? Like 100? Wow.
Like, how do you, I don't know. Especially in a small, dusty road, if you hit 100, I feel like I'm gonna lose control and flip the car over.
And she's probably in some like old Volvo.
Also, if it's dark, like
Yeah, why would you hit 100? You're gonna fucking run over a turtle.
Yeah.
deer or a cow, and then you're in trouble.
No, you're either gonna hit a turtle, and then you see a girl jumping out of the car to save the turtle, and it's like, oh no. Well, one strange thing she remembered from earlier was that there was no sounds from nature outside the gas station. No crickets, frogs, anything. Mother Nature was silent. Just silence. Now driving, she kept a close watch, thinking that they must have missed a turn, but the road remained straight. No forks, no turns. Then she saw the gas station again, but this time the lights were off. The place was boarded up, and there was no man in sight. But she saw the tire marks from her last visit. Her brother yelled again, and she drove until they finally reached the highway within 5 minutes. The experience shook them. One of the brothers refused to talk about it. She no longer speaks to her sister. Her other brother is deaf, but still discusses the experiences using a translator. Ashley, the host of the TikTok account, thought this was just a weird glitch in the Matrix story, but then she got an email from someone calling themselves John Doe, and that's when things really got strange. Okay, so what are your thoughts right now so far? Maria and the gang traveling down a road, ending up in a weird gas station, and then leaving because they're freaked out, and they somehow end up at the same gas station like 2 or 3 times. Do you think she was high on something?
No, but I kind of want to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, go ahead. Tim does it all the time, so it's fine.
Okay. It drives me nuts when people do this to me. But like saw the tire marks in their car having been in that parking lot earlier. Like,
Yeah.
did she go into detail of the pattern of tire marks that matched the way that she was peeling out? Like, how does she know what her tire marks look like? But then also like dusty potato chips and like old school shit. Like, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just kind of like if they're not familiar, like there are regional, like small towns, like do have like sometimes have different brands.
Yeah.
That is true.
Of stuff, and it can be dusty because people don't go in there to buy it. They go in there to like perhaps socialize, or they actually cook food. And some of them, and they just go in there for the food.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, is this like? But the pricing is weird.
The pricing was weird, but also she mentioned that the food and stuff was like covered in dust, like you mentioned. Like sometimes people don't really buy stuff, but she also said the designs were vintage. So it could imply, she was saying like it felt like we were in another
Like there's like Tom's, their logo. You would have to look it up, but I think their logos look the same. There are certain brands of potato chips and stuff that I'm thinking of, and like Chico, like old school stuff, like Chico sticks. They're like from way back in the day, and like the packaging is the same now.
Yeah.
Charleston shoes. Like, so, but
I'm with Araya on this. I mean, are we just is Maria purely basing this off the fact that she saw tire tracks, a slightly similar gas station, and the snacks looked like they had slightly retro labels, and that's the whole
old man.
And then the old man. There's other old men.
It's the South. They all look the same.
I mean,
yeah, everyone's old there.
White men look the same.
Well,
sorry, listeners.
Sorry to our Southern listeners.
You're dressed this
unless you're from the Appalachian Mountains.
Safe contacts. Like you can look the same if your body types are similar.
Yes, and also we're just kidding about that. But still, there could be other old men.
Well, okay, so now I'm going to go into the other side of this story and see how you both let's see how you both defend this now.
Well, okay, are you really in Maria's favor?
I'm always in the people who are very paranoid. I'm always paranoid. I'm always on the side of the people who experience something because I want to believe.
That's true. You're the Mulder of the group for sure.
And you are the Scully, and Araya is Skinner.
Skinner, wouldn't Araya be like Monica Reyes or something?
Oh yeah, it should be Monica Reyes.
Actually, no, because that makes her the worst. So you're actually who's a good character on X-Files?
She is the smoking man.
No, or that would make Araya evil.
No, it just means that he was always right.
Oh.
Anyway, let me go to the other side and let me see what you guys think about this. How about that?
Oh, don't you think our listeners want to hear us for the next 10 minutes think about which character we all are?
Exactly. They're like, you just hurry the fuck up. They're like, I've already forwarded like 20, 30 seconds. You guys are still on X-Files.
How much more do I have to skip?
John Doe emailed to say it was his dad working at the gas station that night. His dad used to talk about seeing time travelers from the future. Apparently, John Doe's dad had serious problems with pills and alcohol, kind of like Tim, and his mom thought that the time travel talk meant he'd relapsed. She left him and took the kids. John didn't speak to his dad for 16 years. They reconnected when John had his first daughter at age 29. He asked his dad why he relapsed back then, and his dad said, "I didn't. I really did see people from the future that night." He called them ghosts from the future.
And Luis trusts his story because he's high on pills and alcohol, and that just makes a trustworthy kind of witness.
Yes, I'm sorry, but
That Tylenol really got to your head.
I know I put some Orajel on, so I took some Tylenol, so maybe that's what's affecting me. But may I continue?
Fine.
John didn't know why his dad thought they were from the future, but remembered him saying he saw them pull out in a car that hadn't been invented yet. Maria later confirmed that she didn't have her phone with her inside the gas station, which may have contributed to the strange experience.
I don't understand that.
It's 2007. People didn't carry like their phones everywhere then, no, did they?
I kind of did. I mean, I had a basic cell phone, but I still carried it everywhere.
How did not having her phone on her in the gas station contribute to the situation being weird?
Oh, because it says here that she just didn't have her phone. I don't know. We'll find out.
Luis likes to gloss over the parts that don't make sense.
That don't make sense. I'm here like doing mental gymnastics trying to defend Maria. But according
You're
to
in love with Maria, just admit it.
Maria, I just met a girl named
Maria.
According to John Doe, the year his father saw those time travelers was 1984. John Doe shared full email transcripts, which are posted on the TikTok account where the story first appeared. He wishes to remain anonymous because he's 54 now, works in a scientific field, and has a wife and 3 daughters, and doesn't want to be ridiculed. He's still grappling with the fact that he lost 16 years with his father over something he now believes may have been real.
What does it mean he worked in a scientific field?
What?
I said, what does it mean he worked in a scientific field? Does that just mean he like cleans out the test tubes?
He is like the janitor at the local biomedical center where they're doing clones of rich people's dogs.
Yeah, I know. Barbara Streisand's dog is in there.
Well, how about this? Maria and John Doe's stories are posted on TikTok, and the creator of the video said this prompted over 75 emails from viewers who shared similar experiences or possible leads. The creator is trying to piece together what's real, and hopes someone watching can help. Here are the known facts. According to Maria, the gas station was roughly 5 hours from Florida. John Doe said the gas station where his father worked was off of I-75 and State Road 376. The station had 2 pumps and may have been connected to a body shop, though the shop wasn't always in use. Maria said the area was heavily wooded. John Doe recalled it may have been called Ben's or Bobby's or another man's name starting with a B. It changed ownership often in the 1980s.
I'm curious to know where in Florida Maria lived.
I think she was in
Pensacola.
Yeah, no. She went to Florida to visit her. No, she didn't live in Florida. She went to Florida with her family for her uncle's funeral, and they were driving back to, I think, Texas.
Ah, which part of Texas?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I wrote.
Laredo. It always finds its way back.
Well, you know that Araya's mom and dad, sorry, I don't know if I should be sharing this on stepdad on the Itty Bitty Horror podcast, but they all lived in Laredo for a little bit, right?
I didn't live there, but yeah, my mom and my stepdad.
They did?
Yeah. He had an RV park down there.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
A small world, I
A
say.
small world, I know.
Maria and the creator of the video have discussed visiting the location together. They're also hoping to identify older residents who might remember John Doe's father, who used to spend time at the local VFW. They hope someone from that era may remember the time-traveling claims. Someone suggested checking local Facebook groups, the Valdosta area, as older residents often share stories in those communities. If anyone's parent or grandparent is part of these groups, maybe they could post a question. Another approach is to search county records for a gas station named Ben's, Bobby's, or similar in the 1980s. Tracing the owners could help pinpoint the location. So right now, they don't even know where the gas station is anymore, or even it exists, is basically what she's saying, right? Well, one email came from a woman referred to as M. She said her family visited what she believes was the same gas station in 1996. She was traveling with her mom and brother to Savannah. They got off at an exit that promised gas 2 miles away, but drove much further, maybe an hour. When they arrived, the station had old school pumps. She ran to the bathroom while her mom, who had spilled gas on herself, went to clean it up. Her brother and she looked for snacks, but everything was dusty, expired, and the drinks were all in glass jugs. Same experience as Maria.
Because nobody's
Wait.
there. So how are you going to afford to buy new stuff? Nobody shops there.
Can I also ask, I'm sorry, but so she's saying that there was a sign that promised gas 2 miles away, and so then they drove an hour off of this. They didn't at some point say, you know what, I think that sign might be a little old or something, and then like leave.
Someone who has traveled through the rural South and like continues to do it, like when I go home, like a chrome gas pump thingy is really not that weird.
Oh no, that was a skit.
It's also not that crazy for Katharine Hepburn and two Southern women to be hanging out together.
I was not Southern. I was also transatlantic.
I
Just
guess
kidding.
my head went to when I saw old school pump. When you said old school pumps, I was thinking chrome.
Oh yeah, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, it says here, her mom tried to pay for gas in some old gum called Tea-Berry. The man behind the counter said her $10 and $5 bills were counterfeit. They argued. The man picked up a strange old phone and asked to be connected to the police. Her mom got freaked out and threw down a 20 and left with the gum. I'm sorry, if somebody didn't believe me, I thought I was using fake money, I still wouldn't, throw a 20 down for a piece of gum. It's like, let's get out of here. Fuck y'all then.
I know, God, like that's a lot of money. Also, why didn't she go with Big Red?
Tim.
Maybe all they had was Tea-Berry.
They only had Tea-Berry.
Well, I'm just curious because that's what I would go for.
It says here, her brother had seen antique cars driving by, like Packards and a Fairlane. On the way back, they reached the highway in 5 minutes, much faster than before. Years later, her mom found some of the gum in her grandma's house. The packaging was from the 1960s, even though she bought it in 1996. She asked her mom why she got so weird at the gas station. Her mom said she couldn't explain it, but like something made her feel like they couldn't get out if they stayed. The black and white newspaper, the strange phone, the outdated items, everything about the price was off.
Maybe the expired gum got her tripping. Like,
I think they do, right? They lose its impact, its flavor.
But
Gum?
yeah, but in a way that's gonna impact you, like
Oh no, it's not.
Gum already does.
No, it's not gonna create that. No, you're
Also,
right.
Luis, I'm sorry, I have to add this, but you said everything about the price was off, and that there was more to the story. I think you meant everything about the place was off.
Well, you go fuck yourself, Tim. I'm just
I'm sorry.
okay.
Do you want to just re-record that last sentence?
So what are we thinking so far? I know I said you guys are gonna believe now from John Doe's point of view, but it seems like you guys don't.
Well, what do you think, Araya?
I don't disbelieve. I just have my own paranormal experiences. There's just so many questions, right? Like,
Well, I've had no paranormal experiences in my life, so I'm still the Scully of the group, I guess.
No, okay. If you were in front of Maria right now, would you call her a fat lying bitch?
I think I would.
I think perception is real,
Yes.
right? Like what we experience is what happens to us, but it might not be happening to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
I believe that whatever these people experienced were real for them, but I
So you
don't.
believe they're deluded?
No, I wouldn't say deluded.
Araya, you're being too kind. These are crazy hicks.
Okay. I don't know. I think that like when we are experienced to be a certain way and it's not that, like our subconscious like compensates in a way like to comfort ourselves that we make sense of an environment that we're like feel uncomfortable in. Like I was saying earlier, like all these descriptions of their environment, I'm like, they're literally describing any gas station in the world. So I'm just kind of like,
But you ended up in the same one.
okay, yeah, but it's like, okay, and maybe that really happened. But maybe it didn't, and you just ended up in the same one in a different location.
I was gonna say, I think they kind of buried the lead here because I mean, they mentioned all these things like, oh, the drinks were in glass jugs. And I'm like, well, okay. But then they say there are all these antique cars driving by, like Packards and a Fairlane, which is like, Luis, how we always talk about a Studebaker. It's that same kind of car. And I feel like that's weird. Like, that's a weird thing to see on the highway. That's like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, were they rusty and old? Or did they
Good
look
point.
new? And
Were
like,
they near a classic car show?
were you subconsciously only choosing to see the old cars and there were other cars that didn't recognize?
This is true.
No, maybe Tim has a point. Maybe they're going to an antique car show.
Or that, yeah, in the middle of the night.
Oh,
It's like an underground, like EDM car show.
yes,
I'm
yes.
highly intrigued by that.
Yeah, I'd go to that.
Okay, well, in this next part, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading several email submissions about the specific gas station. We've rewritten this for the podcast to make it more entertaining. But if you want to watch the YouTube videos where they actually just go straight up about what happened and they're just reading, the emails, you can do that. But what's the point of that? Don't you want something more theatrical?
Yeah, come on. Look at what we're giving you, listeners.
I have lived in Atlanta my whole life. When I was younger, I dated this guy in North Florida. It was about a 6-hour drive straight down I-75, and that meant one thing: cutting through Basta, Georgia. There's a long stretch down there with basically nothing, just dark trees and a sky that feels like it's pressing down on you. That night, I was driving alone. It was late and I was tired. And like clockwork, I had to pee. I wasn't watching for signs or paying attention to the GPS. I just panicked, picked the next exit, and hoped for a bathroom. I went inside. It was still, dingy, the kind of stillness where nothing breathes. Like time was on pause. It was grimy as hell in there. But the entire time I was in there, I had this creeping sense like if I moved the wrong way, if I broke some kind of invisible rule, something would happen. I just felt very stifled. So I rushed out. Back in my car, I pulled up my address, but something was off. GPS was blank. Like the moment I walked inside, my location ceased to exist. And I thought, well, that happens sometimes, but it didn't direct me towards I-75. Instead, it told me to go the opposite direction. Some back road. I figured maybe there'd be a crash up ahead, so I followed it. The clocks in my car and on my phone, something about them felt off, like slower, not wrong, just like time was dragging its feet. Waze rerouted again, told me to turn down another road, then another, then... It said to turn onto a road that wasn't there, just blank space. But somehow I was on it. A gravel driveway stretching out like it would never end. No house, no mailbox, just dust and trees, and the kind of darkness that feels like it's watching you back, you know? And then, I don't know what hit me, but something said, turn around now. So I did. And with minutes Just like that, I was back on the highway. Later, I found out other people's stories about a gas station down there, and when I heard them, my stomach just dropped. I don't know if it was the same station, but whatever's going on nearby stuff,
Rerouting.
it's not just a glitch though, and it's definitely not a joke. That really happened to me.
I like that the end of the story is her being like, it wasn't a glitch. It wasn't. And it wasn't a joke. Please believe me. Like it's just her like shaking our shoulders and being like, come on.
I know if I send a story like this to somebody, like, and my spooky story was like, you have to believe me, it's not a joke.
Please, I'm not lying.
Exactly. I'd be like, okay, you're lying. Delete email.
Did she say like sincerely?
I mean,
Oh, it doesn't say it. It didn't have that in the email.
Oh,
It was anonymous. Oh wait, no. This next story is somebody who wants to be anonymous. Tim, that's you.
oh, that'll be me. I'll narrate that one. Araya, did you have something you wanted to add to this story? I feel like you had some secret opinions about it.
no, not really. I just feel like, people don't take me seriously, and that's the reason why I have to feel like, no, this really happened.
Oh, she's still in character.
Okay, Timmy, it's your turn.
It's my turn. I think I've been to this gas station. It started when I stumbled across the story on my For You page. I clicked in at the first John Doe email and something told me to go back and watch the entire series. I got goosebumps. My stomach sank. Every part of me screamed, this has happened to you. I live in Atlanta. Every year, my husband, son, and I drive down to Florida to see family and friends. This time, we got a late start. Spring break traffic was a nightmare, bumper to bumper, way past dark. We were exhausted. Snacks were gone. Everybody had to pee. My husband was white-knuckling the wheel, overwhelmed and road raging. He made a last-minute call. Let's pull off here. There were no signage, no warning, just an exit ramp leading to a 2-lane highway that stretched out into blackness. No street lamps, no headlights, no taillights, just us. We passed some construction barrels, but that was it. I've been on rural roads before, but something felt wrong, like we were trespassing somewhere we didn't belong. Even my husband went quiet. He finally muttered, "Forget this, we're turning back." But when we did, there was no highway, no exit ramp, just more of the same endless road. We tried again, nothing. The barrels were gone now, just blacktop and trees. And then, lights. A gas station. 2 red pumps, a red glow from inside. My husband, desperate for a break, told us to go in while he messed with the GPS. Our son was starting to cry. We were all on edge. The inside was wrong. Everything was old, but not in a vintage way, more like trapped in time. The cashier didn't look at us, just stared through us. They spoke like they were reciting words someone else had written, like they weren't human. That's when I felt it in my chest. We needed to go. Outside, my husband was shivering. He hadn't even come in, but he felt it too. The GPS was dead. Just a spinning wheel on a frozen screen. We got back in the car, drove straight. Then we saw it again. The same gas station. Same lights, same red glow, same broken place. Only we hadn't turned around. We were trapped. We tore down that road, screaming, praying for a sign, and when we finally saw construction barrels again, our signal returned. Less than 5 minutes later, we were back on the highway. My husband chalked it up to exhaustion and a bad signal. He switched carriers. But I know what I felt. That gas station wasn't old, it was other. It's never shown up again on our drives to Florida, not once. We don't stop in Vasta anymore. We don't even slow down. And if you ever see a glowing red gas station off an unmarked exit in Georgia, keep moving. You might not make it back a second time.
Do you think that man beats his wife.
Oh, I definitely think so.
He's controlling.
Like, if he's road raging, I know it's not part of the story. Like, I'm not missing the point. I just wanted to point that out. That man sounds horrible.
Well, as someone who spent years working with survivors, like road rage is a very classic way. Many of us get road rage, but it is a classic way to control your partner.
Yeah. And then she went inside and he was tinkering with the GPS. She probably never even told him. Like, right? Is that what she said? Did she ever tell him that it was weird or anything?
No, I think she just got the vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't express it to him.
Probably felt like she couldn't tell him anything.
Exactly.
She probably couldn't. Yeah. I'm sorry, lady who actually emailed in. If you're listening to this beautiful podcast.
Yes.
Tim, do you have any other additional thoughts?
Let's see. I feel like this story was a little bit less interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was kind of just she got weird vibes, felt like other, and then left.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, these people, they're at a gas station. It's late at night. They're tired. I get why they would be scared, but like, I mean, come on.
Yes.
It's also like an understanding of what these people experience, because part of me is just kind of like a projection of your discomfort with the environment you're in. And like,
Very true.
it's old, but not in a vintagey way. And I'm like, what does that mean?
I feel like because they're reading those previous stories about how someone saw that the chips were like in a vintage bag, that they're then thinking, oh, I haven't seen that Pringles logo before. Like maybe that's vintage. Oh, it's a gas station. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
These are people who emailed in after listening to the main story. So they're just adding to it and maybe also going was like, oh yeah, me too. I also saw 2 weird pumps and I saw this hillbilly with a little straw in his hat and his name was Tim. And
Oh, why do you bring me into it?
I've had plenty of cashiers who didn't look at me and stared through my eyes.
I know.
Made them uncomfortable.
That is my normal experience at a 7-Eleven is they look through me.
not me. Every time I go to
Going through their own shit.
yeah.
Luis, what were you gonna say? Every time you're there, they look right at you and
No, they're like, we ain't take no EBT. How did you know? This last story is another email that was obviously sent in. We're going to read it very dramatically. I'm going to use it in my really awful Southern / transatlantic accent. This next story comes from Kay. She's been shaken ever since watching those gas station videos. She sent them to her best friend, who's just as stunned. The two of them have been telling this story for years, but nobody ever believes them. You decide if it's connected. Late 2012, Kay's best friend shows up, new car, new camera, ready to show off. Kay was going through a rough divorce, and her friend, knowing this, offered a little escape. It came with a free full tank of gas, she said. Let's take a trip. No work, no kids, just a weekend away. Her friend's little boy was with them, same age as Kay's youngest. They packed overnight bags, called the fiance, who suggested visiting them just 3 hours away in Valdosta, Georgia, from Daytona Beach. Motherfucker wanted me to drive all the way there. Not fair.
wanted me to drive all the way there. Not fair.
The trip was perfect, smooth, no incidents. Hotel, breakfast, plans to leave in the afternoon. Then on the way back, they followed the GPS home, but something was wrong. The highway, familiar as the back of their hands, ended suddenly. No warning, just a roadblock sign. No cars around, no houses, no other roads, no signs. Nothing. They never turned off the highway. Phone said they were on the right road, except there was no service. The friend driving turns back, away from the dead end. They laugh nervously, joking about the wrong turn movies. But inside, they're both freaking out.
Which movies are those?
The wrong turn movies, bitch.
I don't what movie is that?
It's a horror movie about people making a wrong turn and ending up in a slasher movie.
Wait, like U-turn?
they take a U-turn. The sequel is U-turn.
Actually, there's a movie with J-Lo called U-Turn and Sean Penn, but that's not the one we're talking.
Oh my God, Louise.
They drive and drive, keep turning around until finally a gas station, thank goodness. It looks out of place. Two gas pumps from a different era, long out of service. Their friend pulls up. Outside, a young boy, 8, maybe 10 years old, wearing overalls, half on, no shirt, no shoes, smoking a cigarette, silent. You bitches looking for gas? He didn't say that. They're scared, but they have no choice. They need directions. Kay stays in the car with the boy. Her friend goes inside. Inside, there's a man, scary, boots unlaced, holding a mop and a bucket. No one keeps boots unlaced in the woods. The store looks abandoned, filthy, disgusting, almost like Tim's apartment.
Oh, come on.
Shelves stocked with products from decades past. Lights flicker brightly. Behind the counter, a woman. She looks up and she says one thing. You ain't from around here, are ya?
I know that.
The friend rushes back to the car, puts it in gear, and peels out fast. Back on the highway within minutes, and still to this day, they have no idea what happened. Shortly after, they pulled over, speeding. They wonder if the cop was in on it. She got a notice to appear in court, and now she's afraid her license might be suspended. Well, shouldn't be speeding down a highway. They never thought about time travel, but something was definitely trying to trap them. Something like Wrong Turn meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh shit.
That day, none of the clothing matched the era. The place made no sense. No cars, no people, except that boy. Old signs taped to windows. They tell people, and people say, "Oh yeah, just be careful in Georgia." But Kay and her friend knew. They never left the highway. What was that place? Where were they? Their GPS finally caught signal. Once they were back on the highway, like the rest of the weird driving never happened. Kay can't say how long they were caught in that loop, or if time even mattered there. Just this, the weirdest thing, the scariest thing. Two women, still cautious. You ain't from around here, are you? But they're still asking, what was that?
Are you?
Well, what about the story? What did y'all think?
I have to say, I do feel like when people are on the highway, especially late at night, in the desert or rural areas, I do feel like if you're on there for a long time, everything feels spooky. I'm starting to just think this is just an effect of being on the highway for long stretches of time and being like sleep deprived. I don't know what you guys think.
Oh, you think like what you're saying is that people are really just experiencing weird things because they've been on the road for so long, or they're like traveling for like a couple of hours and they have to pee real bad or whatever. They're just like their mind or whatever is making them see certain things.
They're an
Yeah.
this, and then like the whole GPS thing. I don't know how many times here, like anywhere where like certain, like my GPS, especially around like doctors' offices that are near hospitals, but like or in rural places where like my GPS like will like make me go into loops and not do the actual destination.
Yeah.
Alameda recently, like, so there's that, and then you're tired and you're confused and like, yeah, on top of all of it.
So what you're both saying is that Maria's a lying bitch.
No,
Yes. Thank you.
I don't think it's lying.
She's lying. Just admit it.
Maria was sleepy. She was sleep deprived. She was
And a liar.
can you take a long nap? And she was her GPS. She needed a better GPS system.
And like, I don't know, maybe these people should practice more. Oh God, that sounds judgy.
Mindfulness.
Objectivity about the experience that they're having and how much they're projecting like their personal experience and knowledge onto like situations that are unfamiliar to them, coupled with like the weary tiredness, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
A
Like,
traveler.
I just sometimes I wonder, like, these stories like come from a place of bias
Mhm.
from the South.
That's fair. But I'm going to tell them that you said that.
Okay, that's fine because I think that there are a lot of crappy things about the South.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's kidding our listeners who are from the South.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the Piedmont, North Carolina, and then I went to high school in fucking South Carolina, which was like the worst. But like, I think that like these stories, like,
Mhm.
I need more details to understand where these people are coming from. All of
Me
it.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
guess what? You can watch the links in the TikToks and the YouTube videos.
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I'm actually curious. I am.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I am too now. Listeners, please do.
Yeah, if you're not even going to check it out, Tim, why do you think our listeners are going to check this out?
No. They know I'm kidding. They've heard me enough on these things. Listeners, please go on there. Go check our links and email us what you think of our links.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you. Tim, I'll ask you first. Araya, I'll ask you second. What would you do if you were traveling down a lonely road at night and your GPS takes you to an old gas station from the 60s down in the rural South? You walk in and see this frail old man looking straight at you. He says, "You're not from around here, are you?" And then when you try to go back to your car, it won't start.
That's the question. Okay, I would go into the old 60s looking gas station and I would say, "Oh, sorry. Yeah, my car won't start. I guess I need a little I need some jumper cables or something."
And then the man says, like, "This is a 60s, bitch. That car looks like a spaceship."
Well, so he says this is the 60s, bitch.
Yes.
I'd automatically think he was lying. No one said that back then. I'd be like, "Okay, you're trying to gaslight me. Just give me jumper cables. I'll leave you alone."
And he's like, "Here's your jumper cable." And then he knocks you over and you wake up, he's pegging you. Araya, what would you do in the same situation?
Including the part Luis added.
Wait, including?
No. Cut this out.
You go to the gas station and then the old man says, like, "You're not from around here, are you?" And then
Well, Cletus, my ancestors are, my great grandmother is.
he's like, "Well, not you."
Her name was blah 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 blah. She grew up blah 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 on blah 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 road.
And he goes, "You my cousin?
Possibly.
Let's go to the barbecue party."
Go. And then I'll find someone else to give me some motherfucking jumper cables.
Oh shit.
And then he says, we're here to rock and roll in the 60s. You're right, Tim. Dude, like, if somebody were to say something to me right now, I'd be like, "Hey, excuse me, do you know where the nearest Target is?" I wouldn't say, like, "This is 2025, bitch."
Yeah, you wouldn't. Like, you're imagining this is like an action movie or something.
Well, this brings us to the very end of the episode. I want to once again thank Araya for making the journey to our little non-existent studio.
So far.
Yes. Thank you, Araya.
How'd you like being on your first podcast?
It was fun as hell. Y'all are a trip.
Oh, we are a trip. We know that. But I feel like you hated us.
What?
Yeah, I think so.
That's bullshit. What?
You can be honest.
If you enjoyed this episode, then feel free to leave us a 5-star review on either Spotify or Apple Podcast. If there's a story you'd like for us to cover, then feel free to email us at ittybittyhorror@gmail.com. Tim, what are we discussing next week?
Oh, well, we're going to be talking about real life stories of incidents that have occurred inside a morgue.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah. We're talking not so dead bodies, paranormal stories, and more. So you don't want to miss our. Ladies and gentlemen, Luis is having me read this from a script, and he includes words that I will not be saying out loud.
Say it.
All right. You don't want to miss it, our itty bitty titties.
Yes, so we're going to be talking about stories from the morgue. So keep an ear out for that.
Luis, our listeners are just our little itty bitties.
Yes, our little itty bitty titties.
No, whatever. Anyway,
We'll put a poll on Instagram and see what they say.
okay.
Thanks once again, and remember, even the smallest chills can linger long after the story's end. Oh shit, never hit record.
You're
What?
lying. You're lying.
Get in.